Ciao a tutti, benvenuti in questo nuovo video. Oggi abbiamo un ospite ed è il campione italiano Under 18, Ieysaa Bin-Suhayl. Ciao Ieysaa.
Ciao, oggi
Innanzitutto vi spiego che la partita sarà commentata in inglese perché è nato, è sempre vissuto in Inghilterra, anche se ha la madre italiana, e quindi non parla molto bene italiano. Dunque, io parlerò lentamente italiano e lui parlerà lentamente inglese. In ogni caso, se qualcosa vedo che non vi è capita molto bene, la tradurrò in italiano. Allora, Ieysaa, what games do you show today to us?
okay, so today I will show you my game against Gabriele Lumachi. It was a very important game for me in this tournament, the Under 18 Italian Championships, because it was the 8th round of the tournament, the second last game, and we were both winning the tournament with 6 out of 7 at this point. 6 out of 7. So whoever won this game was basically guaranteed to win the entire tournament. So it was very, very
Fantastic.
exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. Quindi chi vinceva questa partita era il campione italiano perché era il penultimo turno ed entrambi avevano 6 punti su 7, quindi chi vinceva automaticamente era il campione. Quindi possiamo dire che stiamo vedendo la finale del campionato italiano Under 18.
Okay, so I will show you the opening now. I had prepared to play against his Nimzo Indian, but he played a line I wasn't prepared for and I had to think on the spot. So d4, knight f6, c4, e6. And then here, after knight f3, I had to start thinking what I'm going to play. I played quite a normal line for black, b6, a3, bishop b7. But already I was out of my my theory and I didn't remember the lines and I was just playing using my own common sense. So after knight c3, I thought I should fight for the center,
That
d5.
is, sorry if I interrupt you, that is what I say always to one that saw my video. Dico sempre di non ricordare a memoria tutte le varianti dell'apertura, ma comunque sapere il piano, i concetti generali. Quindi in questo momento Ieysaa ha detto che non si ricordava benissimo come continuare, però ha deciso di fare un po' a suo modo, quindi continuando in questa maniera. So, let's see what Ieysaa did.
Yeah. So yeah, d5. He takes d5 and here la mossa normale è cavallo per d5, ma non so la teoria. Quindi ho
Ok.
giocato a per d5 per to fight for the center with my pawn.
Ok,
Va bene. Alfiere g5, alfiere e7, e3 a Rocco. I think this is a very normal line, nothing complicated yet.
yeah.
But here it's starting a bit more interesting after bishop d3. Now, I don't like my pawn on d5, quite simply. The pawn on
Why?
d5 is stopping in my bishop,
Ok.
and he has two bishops, which are very in good positions, and I didn't like to play like this. So I thought the best choice was to swap off pieces and get my pieces into better places. Knight e4. With this idea, I block in his bishop, so he can't. So his bishop's not so great now, and I also offer to trade the two bishops, the two dark squared bishops, and I think this is good for me.
Sure.
My opponent didn't want to exchange, and he played bishop f4, but I really, really wanted to exchange, so I played bishop d6 because I really want to exchange these bishops. Now it gets a bit more
Quindi,
complicated.
quindi Ieysaa
Yeah.
si è accorto che gli alfieri del bianco erano molto forti e quindi vuole cambiare i pezzi. Dunque ha migliorato la posizione del cavallo mettendolo in E4, ha proposto il cambio del alfiere camposcuro, l'avversario ha messo l'alfiere in F4, però di nuovo alfiere D6 per cambiare l'alfiere.
See, okay. So here he plays alfiere per d6, and I have quite a few options here. But my idea, so okay, I'll start from the beginning. If I simply take with my queen, I was a bit worried that my knight on e4 was weak. My pawn on d5, so for example, dopo alfiere per e4, d per e4, cavallo d2. He has two pieces attacking e4. 1 second. Yeah, two pieces attack on e4. I only have one, and I don't really like this. So I didn't want to leave my knight on e4. So I played knight takes c3 first. And I'm attacking his queen on d1. And if he takes, I take d6, and I'm in a happy position. I'm very happy with this position. I have swapped off the pieces I want to, and he has a backward pawn on c3, so I would say this is about equal. But in the game, he plays bishop takes h7 check, a very interesting sacrifice.
Yeah.
So he has actually two interesting ideas. Bishop takes
I have a
h7 check.
question. But did you
Yeah.
analyze this line, or it was a surprise for you to receive
No.
bishop
No.
h7?
So no, it was a total surprise. I
Okay.
had not analyzed bishop takes h7 check. I had analyzed bishop takes c7, some strange lines like this. It turns
Yeah.
out black is fine here, but not bishop takes h7 check. But there is also one other line that was very interesting, which he did not play, donna c2. The idea is that, well, at the moment it's my turn. I have to make a move. If I take the bishop, he plays this move, king over, and then he takes the knight. Here he has won a pawn.
Maybe g6, the
Exactly,
bishop.
exactly. This is the interesting line. g6, knight g5 to defend the bishop on h7. And he has h4. He has the idea of h4, h5,
Oh, okay.
attack the g6 pawn, and then he has a rook coming in. In reality, black is okay here because he just brings his knight in, and he's safe. But for me, I don't like this position. I think it's too dangerous for black because I'm a pawn down, and my king on h8 is very weak.
Yeah.
So I was too scared about this line. But I was very happy when he doesn't play queen c2 and he plays bishop takes h7 check instead. So yeah. So now we will analyze this interesting line. I think here my only option is to take the bishop because he gives me a check. Queen c2 check to yeah. So this is the line he calculated. Queen c2 check. I block with the knight, obviously, otherwise I lose my knight on c3. He takes my rook, queen takes, and then he has queen takes c7, and he has a rook and two pawns against my knight and bishop.
Okay.
He decided to play a little interesting tactic first. Before taking c7, he decides to play knight g5 check, trade the knights because my knight on e2 is very strong, in e4. So he decides to trade first, check, trade, and only now donna per c7. Okay, so now we have reached a position where I have to think again for a long time to analyze the position and find out all my ideas. Because before this, it was all forcing lines. So bishop takes h7, king takes h7. It was all forcing lines I had to play. So now it was time for me to think again. I have two options here.
Fino ad ora erano tutte mosse forzate, giustamente ora ti sei dovuto fermare un bel po' a pensare un piano giustamente per sia difendere ma anche per attaccare. Because the position is not so clear.
Yes, yes. I mean, I have the knight and bishop for rook and 2 pawns, but he has these 2 strong pawns, and my knight and bishop at the moment are just not doing anything. So it's not so easy to evaluate. But here I have 2 possibilities. 2 of my strong possibilities. One is bishop d5. The idea is very simple. I have a strong bishop on d5. My knight comes out later. I'm not sure where, and it's a playable position. But I wanted to play more aggressively, with more ideas. So I play bishop a6. The idea is quite interesting. At the moment, he can't castle because my bishop is defending. And my idea is very simple, but it takes a while. So my idea is queen e8, queen b5, and queen e2 checkmate. Obviously, it takes 3 moves to do, and the white will stop me. But it's a very simple idea, and he has to find something to stop me. For example, d5, queen e8, rook d1, queen b5, rook d2. This was one line I analyzed in the game, and obviously there are possibilities he could play, like queen d8 check, and he has repetition. And here also I have knight d7. I think this is winning maybe, because I come in, check, and his king is just too weak to survive.
Yeah.
So he played f3, because he knows that if my queen comes to b5, if my queen comes to b5, yeah, then it's close to game over because it's checkmate coming up.
Okay.
So he plays f3 to give his king an escape route, which is perfect. Nothing wrong with that. Okay. Now I have a few ways to play. 2 main ways to play. I can either take the pawn and I play an open position. His king is a bit weak. I can try get my queen in somehow and attack him. Or I can play, which is what I played in the game, queen e8. At the moment, it's his turn, and my queen here is very nice. It's attacking the e-file, and yeah. Because the reason why I don't like to play this line is because now he has an open file, and I don't want to play like this. So I play queen e8 first.
I like also queen e8 because it allows to develop the knight. Because now
Yes. Yes.
il cavallo in b8 è messo male, non è sviluppato, quindi regina e8 permette di svilupparlo o in c6 o in d7.
Yeah. So, yeah. So he plays king f2. Idea is very simple. My idea is take here, queen takes e3. So he plays king f2 and defense pawn. Now it's my turn to develop. All this time, my knight and rook have just been stuck there doing nothing. So it's time to finally make them useful. I have a couple ways to bring out my knight c6 and knight d7, but I played knight d7 because I want to open the rook file for my rook, and also I have some ideas to play on the king side. He plays rook on the open file to gain some control, to develop the pieces, and that's good. Okay. Yeah. So now I have.
Excuse me. What happens if the white takes on e4? instead of
e4.
rook c1.
So if he takes on e4, I have rook c8. This is a very important move because if I take e4, obviously he takes on d7. So with rook c8, now I have a very strong rook on c2. I have control of the file of the second row, and I can even win a pawn back if I want to.
Perfect.
So one example, queen f4, rook c2. His king is very weak now. My knight can come in as well. I have so many ideas. It's just, yeah, it's not a good idea to take e4
Yeah,
yet.
sure.
So he plays rook c1, and here it was not an easy choice for me because I wanted to play rook c8, but he just takes on a7, and I just lose a pawn. My bishop is weak, and I'm not doing anything. So I wanted to find a way to get my pieces active because my knight is not doing much, my rook is not doing much. My idea is to bring my knight here, attack e3, it's a very strong square, and I have a good position. But I have to find a way to do this. And if I play knight f6 now, he plays queen c6. I don't want to trade the queens. I mean, the position is okay, but I didn't want to trade queens. I wanted to keep my queen on the board to attack e3. So here I thought of a prophylactic move, and bishop b5. I control the square.
Una mossa profilattica, una mossa di attesa. So you want to wait in order to understand what the opponent wants to do it.
See, anchor to control c6.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Because I don't want him trying to trade the queens. Okay. Here he plays a bit, in my opinion, too aggressively. He plays queen b7. Now, his idea is he puts pressure on the rook and the pawn, but also he has the idea to take control of the seventh rank. But in my opinion, this is not good because now he loses control. He loses his defense over here. For example, I have some ideas to play queen h4 check, make his king weak, but with his queen on c7, he was defending everything, and now he's not. But I think it's fine anyway. So knight f6, I want to just develop my pieces, put more pressure. He plays rook e1, he puts more defense on this, having some future possibilities to push the pawn. Rook b8. So yeah, here's a very interesting situation because I offered to sacrifice a pawn. My idea is I want to bring my knight to d5. I have a very strong position. All my pieces are attacking down at his king, and maybe even get my rook into play at some point. But at the moment, I can't do that with the queen on b7. So I play rook b8. This is a bit dangerous because if he takes a7, I lose a pawn. But I was very happy with this because after knight d5, I'm defending b6. My bishop is defending all these squares. My knight is defending all these squares. And the point is his queen is stuck. His queen is stuck here. So my idea, one idea would be queen d8, rook a8, and win his queen. Very simple. And he can't really stop me because his queen is stuck, his rook can't help, and I have a very, very nice position.
So if f takes e4, there is queen d8 and rook a8. Oh, no, because there is e takes d5.
Yeah, I can't play that straight away. If I try and remember exactly what I thought of, I think after takes e4, what is it exactly?
In caso è molto interessante che qui Isa ha deciso di sacrificare un pedone, il pedone A7, solamente per il compenso di avere una posizione migliore, di mettere un cavallo in una posizione più centrale, che è appunto la casella D5, in modo tale che tutti i pezzi collaborano per cercare di attaccare. Quindi questo è comunque un concetto certamente non semplice, difficile per un giocatore magari amatore, mentre per Isa, che è un maestro, ovviamente reputa un pedone nulla rispetto allo sviluppo dei pezzi e all'attività dei pezzi. We can go ahead with the game.
Okay. I mean, I don't remember exactly what my idea was because I can't take all 4 because he takes my rook.
Yeah.
I remember there was a way to play some line, but I've forgotten now.
Okay, no problem.
Okay. So yeah, he played queen c7 because he doesn't want to be stuck on a7. I still play knight d5, queen e5. He offers to exchange the pieces. I don't want to exchange pieces, but I think now I have to. I mean, yeah, I think now I have to exchange pieces because he's attacking d8, e8, b8, and I think I have to exchange. So I take, he takes.
Lui non
Now we're
vorrebbe
in a
cambiare le regine perché ha una posizione comunque di attacco, però giustamente in questa posizione deve cambiarle per forza, non ci sono altre mosse, quindi decide appunto di cambiare la regina.
see. So after we exchange, yeah. So now I have a nice knight and bishop. I have 2 pieces, quite active, and in the center, so it's good. But he's threatening to take e4, and I have to stop this. My original idea was this, and this. This position looks very nice for me, but the problem is rook c4. And then I lose control of the center. So I have to move my bishop back, he can play rook d1, and I lose control of the center. So this is not good. So in the game, I play f5 to defend here. And if he wants to en passant, I play knight takes f6. I'm still defending here. My bishop's going to come in, full control. And I also have ideas like this, giving double checks. Knight takes e3 at some point. Just some ideas. In the game, he plays f4. He decides to close the position and play with just the rooks. Rook and 2 pawns against my knight and bishop. So yeah, now we are.
But maybe
now
with the rooks, it's better to open the position, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I thought. In the game, I thought this as well. So I expected him to take f6 and to open the position, because then he has rook c7 and many possibilities. But I don't know why. I think he just wanted to close position and play with the h pawn.
Sure.
And I don't know.
Quindi, giusto per ricordare, nei finali con le torri è meglio aprire la posizione perché le torri possono giocare in maniera migliore e più efficiente con le colonne aperte, mentre i pezzi leggeri come cavallo e alfiere in una posizione chiusa possono tranquillamente, il cavallo per esempio può saltare e quindi dare fastidio.
Okay. Also, at this point, he had a bit low time. I don't remember exactly how much time, but I think maybe he had like 10 minutes or 15 minutes. I don't remember how much time exactly, but he was low on time. So I wanted to play against his time. I wanted to play a bit fast to make him make a mistake on low time.
Yeah.
So king f7, he plays h4. Quite simple. He wants to have some chances here. I block it. He plays rook g1, rook h1. He still has chances. Just for safety, I play g6. I have another piece protecting. Maybe this isn't the best move because if I leave my pawn on g7, I have this nice idea to come in. But I didn't want to risk playing these sort of lines, so I just played g6.
Ok.
He plays g3, king e6, quite solid. Rook hd1. Now my idea is to eventually push this pawn. So I play a5 to prepare this push. And here I missed the strength of rook d4. Rook d4 is a very, very strong move, because my idea was, in the future, I want to play bishop d3, and his rook is doing nothing. But after rook d4, even if I play bishop d3, he still has pressure on d5, he still has the rook d6 check threats. So yeah, rook d4 is a very strong move.
Yeah.
Also, he's threatening a4, which is very annoying, because my bishop is very strong on b5, and I don't want to move it. So I play a4 to stop him.
So
He
bishop
plays,
d3 is not possible because there is a rook c6 check.
yes.
Okay.
So this is already losing, because after I move the king, he takes d5, and I'm just lost now. My idea was to have the possibility to play king d7, defending c6, and then play bishop d3. But rook hd1 and rook d4, it's just impossible now.
Yeah.
So I play a4. He decides to put more pressure here. I defend. Now, the position is about equal. It is equal. He can play rook c1. I can't do much. I can move my rook, and then he goes rook back to d1, and it's just equal. But he plays a good move. He actually plays a very good move, which I did not see. But unluckily, he had low time, and then eventually made a mistake. So he plays g4. A very good move, because he's now threatening the opening of these files. He has two rooks, which are very strong right now, and I'm in a very bad position strategically. My only option really is to take g4, and I lose this pawn. But now I have a passed g-pawn, and I think it's a decent trade. But for me, the very important move, the reason why I take g4, is because I have a very interesting tactic, knight c3. Now, the idea is, although I would lose my rook on d8, I would win the e4 rook. And if he tries to move this rook, then I just take his rook. So, overall, because I want to push this pawn, but at the moment I can't because his king is defending it, I decide to play knight c3, check, and now I have the possibility to push. So, yeah, now he has maybe like 3 minutes on his clock, and it's a bit, what's the word? Exciting or stressful.
Yeah, it's very, very difficult to play this end
Yeah.
game with only 3 minutes. I know because I always say on Zeitnote, so I know the feeling.
I always used to be low on time throughout my chess career, so I have a lot of experience with this low time stress. So yeah. Okay, so here I was thinking about g3 straight away, but I didn't like it because now he plays king g2 and I can't do anything. So I found a very interesting idea, bishop e2. My idea is very simple, but it's also very hard for him to stop it. My idea is alfiere f3, g3, cavallo f2, cavallo h3 scacco, g2, g1.
Yeah.
Non è difficile, ma non è semplice per lui abbastanza.
Sì, evitarla per lui non è affatto semplice.
See. I have my pawn on g6 is stopping this file. He can't come in because my bishop and knight is stopping it all. And yeah, it's not very simple. But he plays a bit inaccurately. In my opinion, his best move is rook b8. Take b6, and then try to get your rook on over here and defend. G8, which is also fine. King f7, rook b8. I play bishop f3 for the same idea. And now he plays, I think here he's losing after rook takes b6. I think his best option was rook b7 check first, because now he has another check.
Yeah.
And now he can, I think, just play, maybe he has e6, or maybe he can even play some h5 idea. But the important thing is that so for example, if he plays, just for example, rook b8, I don't know, rook d8. The point is, when I play knight f2, to play knight f3, he has, okay, this is not the best example, rook b6, knight f2. Now he has rook f6 check, and after I move, rook takes check. And the point is, now I'm not winning. Maybe I'm even losing now, because he will sacrifice a rook for the pawn later, and then he just makes a queen.
Yeah.
So yeah, but he only has very low time on his clock, and he doesn't see the idea. He plays rook takes b6, g3, and I think still he's okay, because he can always play rook check and take later. But he played h5, and now he's losing. I take gh5, and he plays f5. The reason why he plays h5 is because he wants to have this position where he has the 2 pawns, and he has the possibility to even checkmate, actually. But after knight f2, my bishop is defending the square. So I gain another tempo. He plays rook g6, which is, I think, forced. He wants to now defend the g file. And I very calmly play h4, because I have time. I'm still defending g3, and my next move will be to make a queen. So he plays e6 check, because he wants to try something here. But unfortunately, it does not work for him, because after king e7 and king f8 also works. King e7, rook g7 check, king f8, f6. He's very, very close to winning the game. But because it's my move, I play scacco, g2, and now he has to take.
Yeah.
Take knight g5. Now, he has 3 pawns for my knight, which is normally this is okay. But because they are very far advanced, he can't defend them. My knight's attacking e6, and he can't defend the pieces. So, for example, if he plays e7 check, I have king f7, maybe king h2, knight e4, and I just take all the pawns. In the game, though, he plays e4. I don't know why he played e4, but with low time, you make decisions that don't make sense. Maybe he was hoping for e5, and this is, I don't know, maybe I'm still winning, I don't know. But in the game, I take e4 first, attacking f6, and yeah, now it's just quite simple, game over. He plays king h3. His idea is to take h4, then run his king all the way here, and then play b3 and trade the pawn, and it's equal, because I can't checkmate him with just a knight, obviously. But luckily for me, I have quite a lot of tempo. So I go king e7, king takes e5, king d5, king c4, and if he plays king d2, king b3, my idea is quite simple. I'm just going to come in and just take all the pawns, and then I'm just going to make a queen. So in the game, he tries to play something clever, b4. The idea is that after I take, he has a passed pawn, his king can come defend, and it's just some idea that might work.
Yeah.
But unfortunately for him, just knight e4 check, re c3, qui lui ha abbandonato qui, perché sempre b2, cavallo d2, scacco matto dopo.
Perfetto. Wow, che partita.
Sì, è uno. Dopo la partita, we spoke a bit about the game, and I mean, I was very happy I won. But only when I arrived back at my hotel, I realized that I am now have 7 out of 8 points in the tournament, and all I need is a draw, and I've won the tournament. So I was very happy with my position, my situation now.
So during the game, didn't you think that winning it was your you will be the champion if you win?
Yes, I knew if I win, I would have a very high chance to win the tournament, but I was,
You were focused about the game and
yeah,
that's it?
yeah.
Wow,
So
that's
normally,
very...
yes, it's very good because normally you get distracted. You're thinking about the tournament result, and you forget about the actual game, how well you play. But I had a really good mindset, and I was just thinking about move after move, what I want to play, what is the best move for me, and try to play the best moves. Before the game, I was thinking a draw is fine, but during the game, my mind was very clear. Play every move, best move, focus on each move, and just try to play as well as you can. And then at the end, I realized I can win now, and yeah, it was great.
Wow, fantastic.
But
So
yes,
congratulations. And now are you
thank
going to do the European or World Championship?
the World Championship, from what I know, is not happening this year.
Due to COVID?
I'm not. Yes, due to COVID, nothing's. Even last year, I don't think European or World Championship happened.
Okay.
So I don't think World Championship is happening this year. I don't know about European Championship. European Championship is maybe happening, but I don't know
Yeah, yeah.
about that yet. But we'll see. If it happens, I'll be happy to play in it. But we'll see what's happening. Yeah, and this game was a very it was very equal the entire game, but it was very complicated and a lot of ideas. And at the end, I managed to um, yeah, managed to get a good
Yeah, yeah,
pawn
yeah.
on c3 and win.
So congratulations again and good luck. I'm sure that you will become FIDE Master soon. And so, grazie
Hopefully.
mille per essere venuto qui
Grazie a
nel
te.
canale Scacchista Matto. E niente, siamo giunti alla conclusione di questo video. Come sempre vi invito a iscrivervi a YouTube, lasciare un like e commentate se avete qualche dubbio. Fatemi sapere se è stato anche chiaro questo mix italiano-inglese. E ci vediamo alla prossima. Ciao a tutti, ciao Ieysaa.
Ciao, ciao.